Hi guys, welcome back to the Crumbs Doilies bakery and to Cupcake Jemma's channel. She is still resting up, but she's getting better and better each day. So you've still got me, I'm afraid. But she has lent me her apron, which is very kind of her. And if you want one yourself, or you think there's someone in your life that would love one of these or something else from the Cupcake Jemma merch, then head over to CupcakeJemma.com and check out our whole range. We've got merchandise and tools and all sorts on there for Christmas. Anyway, today's recipe is going to be a delicious, moist, syrupy Christmas spice sponge. We're going to make a yummy spiced caramel, a boozy orangey buttercream and a little gingerbread man decoration. And we're going to start by making some spiced caramel over here. Okay, so this is going to be a Christmas spiced caramel. We're going to use our kind of regular, I say regular, it's delicious, caramel recipe. So in this jug, I've got 250 mils of double cream. That's heavy cream if you're in the States, so something really nice and thick. Single cream is just a little bit too thin. And to that, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, along with a little pinch, just a little bit of ginger, and also some mixed spice. And I'm going to whisk those into the cream to make sure they're really well combined. Okay, so let's pop that to one side and get on with making the caramel. So into my saucepan, I'm going to put 250 grams of caster sugar, along with 125 mils of cold water. Okay, so turn your hob onto a medium temperature, and we're just going to leave that to bubble away until it's a nice deep amber colour. Just swirling this around just to make sure it's all nice and consistent. And when we've reached that lovely deep amber colour, we're going to take it off the heat and ever so slowly pour in the cream mixture while stirring really quickly. And once that is all stirred through, I'm also just going to add a little bit of vanilla, just about half a teaspoon, along with a tiny pinch of salt. We'll stir those in, and I'm going to pour it into a bowl to help it cool down nice and quickly. That already smells super Christmassy and delicious. I can't wait to try this later. We're going to stay over here with the hob because we're going to start our cupcake recipe, and it's going to be a kind of a syrup sponge. So in the saucepan, I've got 110 grams of unsalted butter, and into there I'm going to put 110 grams of dark brown sugar, along with 220 grams of golden syrup. And if you're in the States and you can't get hold of golden syrup, you can use corn syrup. And a lot of people ask us if you can use honey instead of golden syrup. And you absolutely can. You know, honey's got a good consistency, similar to golden syrup, but it does have a very unique, strong honey taste. It can be quite sweet sometimes. So just bear in mind that it will affect the kind of overall taste of your bake. Anyway, let's get this on the hob over a low heat just to melt it together. We want the butter to be completely melted and the brown sugar to be dissolved. And once that's completely melted and combined to make one liquid, we can get on with making the rest of our batter. Okay, so next up, we're going to put 150 mils of whole milk into a bowl, along with 1 large free-range egg. And we're going to whisk those together, just to break up the egg, combine it with the milk, before pouring in our lovely, syrupy, sugary, buttery goodness. And then again, using the whisk, give those a really good mix to combine them. This is such an easy, simple, quick recipe, and you don't need like a stand mixer or anything, just a good old bowl and whisk. So once those are nice and combined, we can add our dry ingredients, and I'm going to sift in 220 grams of self-raising flour, along with some very important Christmas spices. And we've got a heaped teaspoon of cinnamon, a heaped teaspoon of ginger, a little pinch of nutmeg, and a little pinch of cloves, and they're all going into the mixture as well. This is a really good example of how you can take a recipe that you might already have in your repertoire, add some extra flavors to it and create something completely new. It's like I was saying in the Ask Me Anything video, which if you haven't watched it, make sure you go and have a look at that after this video. One of the questions was, what's one of our favorite Christmas bakes? And mine isn't actually, I don't really love, you know, Christmas cake or Christmas pudding or mince pies. But I do love all these kind of spices and the kind of fruits that you get at Christmas. So this is a really good example of how we can create something festive for the Christmas season. Right, so once you've got a nice, smooth, consistent batter, we can get it into our cupcake cases. And this is going to make 12 cupcakes. So I've got my tin already lined with its little paper cases. And I'm going to do this with a jug because it's very liquid and it can be a bit messy. Okay, so they're ready to go in the oven and we're going to bake them at 170 degrees C with a fan for about 20 minutes until you push them on the top and they spring back. And whilst those are in the oven, I'm just going to have a little clean up and we'll get on with making our buttercream. Okay, so for the buttercream, I'm going to do brandy and orange juice, because they are both really Christmassy. But if you are too young to drink brandy or you don't want to use alcohol, then the orange icing on its own is absolutely delicious, so just go with that. So we're going to start with 150 grams of really nice soft butter. And to make this buttercream, I'm actually going to use a hand mixer because you know, unless you're baking all the time at home, a big mixer like the ones that we use here, they're quite expensive, they're quite a luxurious buy. And I'm just going to show you that you don't really need that. You can do a lot with this little hand mixer. You can get these for pretty cheap, all different types. Look at the reviews, pick one that you think suits you. But we're just going to whip this up until it's nice and white and fluffy. Woo. They're also really speedy. That took no time at all, and as we can see, it's really nice and airy and fluffy. So we can start adding our icing sugar. Oops. And in total, I've got 330 grams of icing sugar, and I've already sifted it, and I'm going to add it in 2 halves, giving it a good beat in between each addition. Okay, so that's all nice and mixed through. It's quite stiff, but that's exactly how we want it because we want to add our liquid, our flavour. And we're going to start with a zest of 1 orange. And once that's in, I'm going to start adding my booze. And like I said, if you don't want to use booze, then just chop open your orange and use some of the delicious juice from in there. But I'm going to start with 2 tablespoons of yummy French brandy. And that's going to go into our icing. And then back on with the mixer and combine it all, and we'll see what the consistency is like, whether we need to add more liquid or not. Ooh. Guys, it smells so good and so Christmassy. So let's just test this consistency. That feels pretty good to me. So I'm going to put this to one side. We're going to wait another 4 or 5 minutes for our cupcakes to bake and then cool down. We'll come back and we'll get decorating. Okay, we're back and we're ready to decorate. The cakes have come out the oven, they're nice and cool, they're lovely and rounded. So first of all, I'm going to chomp some holes in the middle with this apple corer so that we can fill it with our delicious caramel. Okay, so I've put the caramel in a bottle so that we can fill it up. I'm going to fill it right to the very top of the cupcakes, being really careful not to overfill it, because if you spill it over the top, it makes it really difficult to pipe with the buttercream on top of it. If you do end up spilling it, just wipe it up before you use the buttercream. These are going to be so good. It's actually going to be like a syrup pudding, which is kind of what this sponge is, basically a syrup sponge. So with this caramel, it's going to be delicious. All right, so next I've put my icing into this very nice piping bag, and I've got a coupler and a piping nozzle on the end, which is a 1M, and you can actually buy all of this stuff from CupcakeJemma.com now. We're selling these awesome little sets, which I'm just going to tell you about now before we move on. So they look like this, and inside you're going to get 1 coupler, which means that you can attach different nozzles to your piping bag, a piping bag which is reusable, so you can just wash it and use it again and again. It's awesome. And 5 nozzles, so all the ones that you need to decorate your cupcakes. So we've got the round nozzle like this, which Gemma uses loads in her videos. We've got the 1M, which is what we're going to use now. We've got this like multi-star thing, which is beautiful. I think Gemma's probably used this a bit, along with the petal, which you can make really good ruffles with on your cupcakes, and a rose nozzle as well, which you've probably all used before or seen Gemma using. So this is awesome, and you can get this from CupcakeJemma.com, so make sure you head over there and get some Christmas presents on the go. But we're going to go ahead and ice our cupcakes with our yummy brandy and orange buttercream. And next we're going to add another drizzle of caramel, just because it looks really beautiful, drizzled on the top of this buttercream. And Christmas wouldn't be Christmas if it wasn't for a little bit of glitter. So I've got some gold glitter here, just to jazz things up a little bit and make them look really pretty. And I'm going to finish these off with a little bit of gingerbread, which I made 2 weeks ago, and I took some up to Gemma and we decorated them together, and it was so fun. So if you haven't watched that, we'll put it in the description box below so you can have a look at that, because also it's just a really good gingerbread recipe. So I'm going to pop one of those on top of each cupcake and then they're ready. And that's finished. They look so cute and Christmassy, and they smell absolutely amazing. I can't wait to try this. And hopefully you make them too. And thank you so much for watching these whilst Gemma's away. I'm having an absolute blast with you guys, so thanks a lot. And I hope you guys have a great Christmas, and hopefully you might get yourself a little Cupcake Jemma merchandise or baking tools that we showed you earlier. And Gemma will be back soon. She wishes you all a Merry Christmas, and I'm just gonna eat this now. The icing. The brandy makes it so smooth and silky. But let's see what's happening in this cake. It's so moist. And the caramel comes through so much with the spices in there. This is an absolute win. Please make this. Or, if anything, hopefully it's inspired you to use some, different Christmassy things in some of your favourite bakes as well. Good luck and have fun.